New Hampshire weather.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. A winter storm watch in effect Sunday afternoon through Monday morning. For this afternoon, cloudy and breezy with little accumulation of snow and rain late, high 41. Overcast tonight with a bit of snow and rain at times in the evening, then partly cloudy late, low 31. Intervals of clouds and sunshine tomorrow with a high up to 40. And snow tomorrow night, 2 to 4 inches expected. I'm AccuWeather's Ruth O'Brien.
From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the Yum Shop on the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Dene, and alongside Charlie Hossick, we are Mike and the Hoss. Guys, I'm on location. Charlie, you're bunkered in.
I'm on location as well. It's been a morning, and you're the one that's out of country, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm out of country making this thing work. Which you never know. You go to different countries. I'm Canada. It's not like I'm, in anywhere in Europe, but just making it work. And obviously, dogs at the mothership right now, and it's happening. Mike and the Hoss is happening. So 3 different locations.
I made a trip to our typical location and then realized there was no Wi-Fi and my computer had glitches. So I quickly hustled home, and I'm now, in the dark, as J-Dog said, in my daughter's bedroom. We appreciate Abby. I mean, she's our social media person. So I'm in here because you may hear some dog barking here and there, and at least I can close the door and she has a desk. So here I am, and it's all right because we're going to be able to do the show, which is great.
So like I said, I'm in Quebec. Here's my Quebec Nordique stat for those of you that are tuning in on the simulcast, and it's interesting. Real quick, does Quebec deserve to get an NHL team back?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely.
I think so. I mean, there's every story going into has Quebec Nordique cats. They want it. They want the Nordiques back in town.
Yeah.
Dog, what do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they lost the Nordiques back in the mid-'90s for ridiculous reasons. I love the Avalanche, but they came at the expense of losing the Quebec Nordique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring them back. I like it. Canadian hockey, baby.
I'd rather them put a team here rather than in Tallahassee or wherever they're talking about putting it in Florida. The fact that Florida has a few hockey teams as it is just ridiculous, and it's a cold weather sport, and you gotta support the Canadians, the Canadians. So
I've told this story before, but I remember back when I was living out in California for my high school years and stuff, and we would go to we'd go see the Sharks play, and it was great, but it was it was super popular, but it was just so weird because it was warm. It was warm outside, and your t-shirt, shorts. It just didn't feel like hockey. And I agree with you, Mike. Going down and seeing hockey in Florida is it's odd.
You walk out of the hotel, it feels like hockey up here. It's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful city. It's my first time, but you want to go to a hockey game when you're up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. We got a lot today, so let's get this thing started. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the Yum Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro. It can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations and all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our podcast on the app, Spreaker, and also on Audible. The simulcast is on Facebook Live. It's on YouTube Live. And we mentioned earlier it's on Amazon Music, too. So anywhere you want to catch us, you can find us. The Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar. And, of course, the most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yumshop.com. And while you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can join our conversation, 603-228-2080. That is 603-228-2080. And Charlie, before we get to opening takes, I know I forget sometimes, doubleheader on the Pulse today. Bruins are at the Ottawa Senators at 2:30 is the pregame. 3:05 they're going to drop the puck, and then tonight the Celtics host the Atlanta Hawks. 6:30 pregame, 7:05 tip off. Big doubleheader on the Pulse of New Hampshire today for sports.
That's good, Mike. Before we get to opening takes, I just wanted to mention one thing at Yum Yum. I say this frequently, but not only are all their baked goods amazing, specifically their bread. They make fresh bread, and I highly recommend the cheese bread.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. We're due for a Yum Yum sponsored trivia question. We're due for one. I know it's not today, but we are due for one. But today,
a card right here. I know we can do that next week. So
There we go. And you can get your
Well,
cheese bread.
Actually, dog, good point. Next week, it's a little different next week, guys, because we're actually recording a show next Friday because I unfortunately going to be out of town and I won't be able to, like Mike, do it from location because I'll be in the middle of a bus heading to New York City. So we're recording a show on Friday to be played, of course, during our time slot on Saturday. So no trivia next week.
All right. Opening takes are brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse,
where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. And don't forget to order the $5 Mike and the Hoss penalty box during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m.
Do you want it or do you want me to start?
Let me start. I mean, you got a good one. I mean, we both have good ones, I think. I don't know if you guys caught this at all, but a friend of the show kind of tipped me off about this, and then I listened to some of the segment. Jermaine Wiggins, former New England Patriot. Yeah, he is also on talk radio. He came up with an idea and really wanted to know, like, how do you feel about the 3-point shot in the NBA? And we know historically the NBA adopted the 3-point shot rule in the 1979-1980 season, so it's been around for a long time. His kind of position, and it's interesting. I want to chat with you guys about this. He suggested that you can shoot all the 3 shots that you want, but they only count as 2 points until, say, the final 5 minutes of each quarter. And the rationale was that if you make 3-point shooters into like the baseball equivalent of closers, put the game out of the reach for the opposing team, or the baseball equivalent to the designated hitter to generate more offense, it might be a little bit more exciting because the NBA game has changed significantly. I'm a purist in the sense that I like it, get down low, get it to your big man, have bodies hitting each other, and you really work for your shot. The 3-point shot doesn't excite me as much. It is what it is. And the game has turned into, hey, now we're going to shoot 50 3-point shots a game. Look how good we are. What are your thoughts about that position, about maybe changing it, tweaking it? I think the NBA needs to do something. Mike, we fixed the MLB. We need to fix the NBA because it's not a great product.
No, and I don't think the NBA has been a good product for a while. And to your point, Charlie, I think the 3-point shot is a big part of that. What used to happen 8 to 10 times a game now legitimately happens like 60 to 70 times a game. That's how many 3-point shots are being put up there. And we see the Celtics are as much of a culprit as anybody else, if not more, the way that they put it up. They don't even try to get to the rim. And it's disgusting. And they're losing games because of it. And I'm happy about it. They're losing games because of it. And the Celtics are really struggling. And we're seeing a correlation between how many 3-point shots they're taking and their record and how many games they're losing. They just don't want to go inside anymore. They don't want to put the work in. They don't want to get dirty. And I think we see that with the rest of the NBA. Now, this is where the analytics comes in, that the analytics guys say, look, if you take 3-pointers and you make 2 of them, you're going to be better off than, taking 5 shots and making 3 of them. You know what I mean? So it's the math is the analytics of the game. Those guys that are creating and doing these algorithms for each and every sport are ruining the game because they're saying, well, if you want to win, just take more shots. If you miss them, it's okay. Yeah. And what's happened is that the 3-point shot has become like a foul shot for these guys because they take so many that there's an expectation. Where it used to be if they were shooting 25%, that was good. Now it's upwards of 40. You have 40% on 3-pointers, and it just creates a bad product. And I want it to change, but I just wonder if it's as simple as moving it back. Move the 3-point shot, move it back 5 feet. Yeah. And make it a real challenging. So those percentages are down near 20%. They're going to take the shot less, and then they're going to have to go inside.
Yeah, just answer. I don't mind if you answer my question though, just the specifics. What about that idea of changing the 3-point shot into something special, whether it's the last 5 minutes of a quarter or the last 5 minutes of a half? What about that?
I don't like that.
Okay. What about you, dog?
I want the 3-point to stay. The reason, okay. It is frustrating to go to a game or watch a game, and a lot of guys who aren't good at shooting 3-pointers are shooting them and they're missing them. It's the missing more so than the getting. It is. These guys could build enough bricks to build homes all around the world. There are people who don't have no business shooting the 3-pointer, and they do it, and they're not good at it. So stop doing it. That's all it is. They were doing this back in 2003, guys. It's blatant now because we see it, because we have social media, because we have the NBA on TNT criticizing the product. Stop doing that, by the way. Stop criticizing your product. That's why people aren't watching it, by the way. You don't see that in baseball or football or the NHL. Stop. Charles Barkley, love him to death. Stop criticizing the product. You're drawing people away. That's what it is. You're deterring them from watching. Stop it. This is the NBA. This is the only sport you ever played professionally in your entire career, made a fortune off of it now as an analyst and as a player. Stop it. Anyway, back to the 3-point line. It's just, we just need more there's only one Steph Curry, guys. There's only one. Klay Thompson is kind of down below there, and he's in the twilight of his career. That's why he's with the Dallas Mavericks. Enough of these people who don't know how to shoot the 3-point. Stop it. Stop it.
So let me get you right, dog. You just want the pure 3-point shooters to take the shot. You don't want the centers dropping back behind the line and taking the shot.
Take it, please.
Yeah. And I am definitely leaning more towards make the 3-point shot a little bit more difficult.
Okay.
It's just the development of the game, the development of the shots. It's too easy of a shot right now, which is why they take it so much, which is why the big men, the 7-footers, are taking the 3-pointers, because they can make them.
Right.
They can make them. And you go to a practice, if you ever watch one of these NBA practices, they bring the film in and you can watch 20 minutes of it. That's all they do.
Yeah.
That's all they do is they sit out there at the arc and take the 3-point shots.
Yeah.
And every one of them does. Even the friggin' ball boys taking 3-point shots. It's everybody's taking 3-point shots, and I think it's bad. It's bad for the game, and we're seeing it in the ratings for the NBA. We're seeing it in just the general feeling towards the NBA, and I do think part of it is that 3-point shot.
All right, so I guess as far as the opening take, we're all in agreement. We need to figure out how to fix the 3-point shot. We have different ways of thinking about it, but it's the 3-point shot is really what's kind of making basketball not an enjoyable product.
I just want to talk about Dog's take for a second as far as Barkley and those guys on TNT criticizing the sport.
Yeah.
Should they be just strictly fanboys? Those guys, should they be just fanboys and that's it? Or do they have a responsibility to call out different things that they're seeing with the sport?
Responsibility to call out certain players and the abilities and their abilities. Like say that someone like Kevin Durant missed the 3-pointer at the bottom. You can do that. That's fine. When you're criticizing these guys, if you've seen the inside the NBA lately, and again, I don't have access to cable, but I get to watch highlights or lowlights on YouTube and see that all Charles Barkley is doing is why couldn't it be the game it was 15 years ago? Stop, Charles. Stop. It's not what it was 15 years ago. Baseball isn't what it was 15 years ago. The NFL didn't have a 17-game schedule 15 years ago. Okay? Just times change. They're just starting to sound like a cranky get off my lawn. This isn't what it used to be type of thing. And that's just not, stop.
And I think to your point, Doug, I think there's a time and a place to criticize. And I don't think, Mike, if you're an NBA analyst and covering games and inside the NBA and stuff like that, that's the time and place to do it. The time and place might be like us. We are very critical of certain players here and there. Situations where maybe it's talk radio or you can write a column or something, but not when you're kind of covering the game. I mean, can you imagine? I don't know, just watching a game, and I mean, Barkley does it, but just kind of ripping into players, and Dog is right. It just takes away from the product, and it's like, why would I want to watch? Because I like listening to Barkley in the sense that why can't it be like 20 years ago when we used to punch each other in the face and all that? Yeah, I get it, and Dog, you're right. It's like get off my lawn type quote. But yeah, that's the basketball that I grew up with, and it's changed, it's evolved, and I have to appreciate that. But with Barkley out there just beating on the old days were so much better, it takes away from the product.
Well, I don't disagree with that part, but I do know that their pre and post game show on TNT is probably the most watched thing the NBA has. And so the product that those guys are putting out, that Shaq and Barkley and those other, I forget the other two, but that they're putting out is actually people are tuning in to watch that. And those are the splices that are going on to Instagram. It's not the guys that are playing the game. Those are the splices that are going to Instagram, the takes that they're making are making. So people are appreciating those takes that those guys are making. And it's that contrarian view. And that's probably where we are as a society, that they want to hear more of that from people that are inside.
Yeah.
And I don't see a change just because of that. Those guys' ratings are up compared to SLS. Oh, there we go. All right, we're way over. So why don't we take a break and we'll come right back with some New Hampshire sports. Doggy there?
Your home for news, talk, and information. This is 107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Lisa. We are the proud owners of your local Budget Blinds.
Did you know that Budget Blinds is the largest retailer of custom window treatments in the U.S.?
That's right. Budget Blinds has the largest variety of custom window treatments with good, better, and best offerings, as well as the best of the industry with our 5-year, no question asked warranty.
It's no wonder that Budget Blinds is both the largest and leader in custom window treatments.
And at Budget Blinds, we do it all for you. We help you pick the perfect product based on your needs. We also measure, install, and service.
And for a limited time, every motorized or automated shake has a free remote control or hub to integrate to your smart home system like Alexa or Google Home.
At Budget Blinds, we offer blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, and motorized window coverings, and are experts in home automation.
To help you get started today,
text blinds to 78,000.
Hey, it's Big Pete, and this is Repeat from the Appleseed Restaurant in beautiful Bradford, New Hampshire. Today, we'd like to present the Duchess. Soup, that is. That's our signature soup. We've had it since we've been open, 46 years now. It's a blend of cheeses, celery, carrots, onions, all put together, slow cooked, comes out nice and creamy.
Delicious. And Dad, how many people have that recipe?
1, 2, 3. Actually, that would be nobody.
And why is that, Dad?
Because it's a secret recipe.
That's right, it is. I believe the original recipe is kept in the basement in the Appleseed Vault.
Do we still have the combination for that?
Let's talk about catering, Dad.
Good idea.
We have a website dedicated to our catering, which is appleseedcatering.com. Lots of good information there.
And for all other things Appleseed, ...
menus, online ordering, up-to-date hours, and even gift cards. Check out appleseedrestaurant.com. What's that website again, Dad?
You can get anything you want at appleseedrestaurant.com.
Oh, great. Now we got to pay Arlo royalties.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute?
Making a comeback, I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss, sports talk classics in New England Magic, broadcast fantastic. Wolfboro crew where the echoes scream. Fathers, coaches, chasing the dream. Baseball chat, Fenway Green, discussing legends, history scene. Red Sox pride, you feel that sting. Mike and the Hoss entertaining kids.
You know, it's tough to come in on the rap. It's just, you know, it's to find that spot that actually makes sense. And it's I want my skater boy. Bring that up. We need to hear that one there, dog. All right. I'm going to, Charlie and I were talking off air. I'm going to table my opening take. It's going to be applicable next week, most likely. And maybe I'll touch upon it when we get to talk about the playoffs, the NFL playoffs. So we're going to do some picking. 5-1 last week, by the way. Making my comeback. It started. And I don't want to hear about any mathematical things on it either. I'm still alive in my eyes. Anyway, New Hampshire sports brought to you by Bailey's Bubble.
Family owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite sauce is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you.
All right, so Charlie, a law was passed in New Hampshire
Yes.
this week, and I'm gonna tie it into something that happened down in the Philly game that made the news last week. But once you start with what passed.
Sure. Yep. So it was signed it went into effect, obviously, January 1st, 2025. It was signed by Governor Sununu before he left office, but it was Senate Bill 327. What it does, it allows judges to ban people from athletic competitions if they have been convicted of assault, harassment, stalking, mischief, or reckless conduct of threatening or involving a sports official on the field of play or immediate vicinity. And the length of the ban can obviously vary. So this is happening in New Hampshire. There are 22 other states that have similar laws, but New Hampshire has done the right thing to protect our sports officials from really, whether it's coaches or players or rowdy parents. So now sports officials, and we are now in that criteria, Mike. We fit that because we do baseball umpiring. So we don't want to hear any flack from people when we miss calls. So
We do. And, it's not like we're doing high level umpiring, and it just amazed me. And we were on the other side of it, and we had shared this before. There were times that we weren't as well behaved as we should have been, coaching all the way, whether it was coaching hockey, coaching baseball, coaching soccer. There was always, shots taken at the referee, which I really regret at this point now that I'm, that I've put the mask on and I've umpired.
Right.
It's long overdue, and I don't even know. Is it just parents that are living vicariously through their kids, and they have these big dreams that they're going to be going to the NFL or the NHL or the MLB or the NBA, and that for some reason this referee that's coaching their or umpiring their 7th grade middle school game is going to be the one that's in the way of that dream?
Yeah. Right. One bad, missing a strike or not getting the out called, or it's frustrating. And you're right, and it's crazy, and it's let the kids play. What do we say? I always say it for games, right? Let the players play, officials officiate, and coaches coach, and that's what parents need to do. And you're right, Mike. I still feel terrible about some of the comments that I made in the past, and I'm glad now we get to give back from the other side.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily. I think this law is a step in the right direction, obviously, but fan behavior, and including all the way down to Cal Ripken stuff. It's ridiculous on what fans and parents think is okay and how to behave at a game. And I'm going to talk about this thing that happened in Philadelphia last weekend in a second, but to think that it's okay to not just berate the umpires or referees, but to berate the other team when we're talking about youth sports. And we see that pop up on the internet all the time about some parent rioting some 11-year-old because they beaned their kid, or whatever the case might be, or God forbid somebody is much bigger and taller and stronger than another team, and they're dominating, then they shouldn't be playing. And you see parents acting so immaturely towards those children that it's disgusting. It really it's just disgusting. Hopefully this is gonna make a difference, but I'm still at the rink. I still see parents still getting upset with referees. I'm still coaching hockey, and a referee makes a bad call, and we still see parents go ballistic in the stands.
Yeah.
Mike,
I know you're on the bench, but I still hear from parents about they are complaining about players on their kids' team. So-and-so gets too much play time. So-and-so is never off the ice, or so-and-so is always on the baseball field. They're complaining about the players on their kids' team, which that's awful. And then that kind of morphs into the now I'm going to blame the official. It's the official's fault. It's that fault. It's the coach's fault. So you get bad behavior that just kind of it starts to seep into places where it doesn't belong, and you get some bad parents, and we experienced some bad parents over our years, and they just are a cancer. They're toxic, and they get in kids' ears, they get in parents' ears, and then all of a sudden the program is lost.
I can't imagine the kids that go home after their games and everything like that, and the negative talk that comes at them, not about them, not about how they played, but on the reason why that life wasn't fair to them that day, that the referees had it out for them. The coach should have played you more. As far as playing time goes, I don't think that that's ever going to change. That's just the nature of the beast. It's behavior towards the referees, which we're kind of talking about, that why has this become acceptable?
Right.
And you know, I mean,
I do want to make one point about the playing time piece. You're right. It's not going to change. But when have we as a society said, you know, if my kid, if little Billy isn't playing because he's not as good as little Joey, why wouldn't I still support little Joey? He's part of the team, and that we're, you know, and it's just, I don't know. It just, I never had that mentality.
Because little Billy's parents are paying $3,000 for their kids to play in whatever said league that is.
Yeah.
That's the difference. We used to pay $25 for a recreation fee, get a T-shirt with some crappy lettering on it, and then you go out and play. You weren't that, you know, you weren't that committed. And so if your kid didn't play, it was all right. Now it's $3,000 with the program director of the whatever association you're saying is just telling you that you're going to go to Division I and you're going to get a full boat scholarship. And if that doesn't happen, it's somebody else's fault.
Yes. Yeah.
Dog, you want to jump in?
I've always said, just because Kevin Costner called umpires certain things in Bull Durham doesn't mean that kids and coaches need to do the same thing in Little League and or high school baseball amateur stuff. You don't do that. Kids, parents, don't try that at home or on fields or play or ice or basketball courts. Don't do that.
So I'm going to just move to the side a little bit on this. And did you catch what happened in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Green Bay game last week? And the Philly fan that berated the Green Bay Packer fan in the stands, just absolutely berated. It's all over the internet. If you haven't seen it, it's really gross. Obviously, that's not acceptable. Now, with what the internet does now with X, Twitter, whatever, Facebook, you know, you see these things, you see the video of them, and then you see somebody makes a comment, make them famous. Or find out about them. Well, this day and age is not that difficult to do. And sure enough, this guy lost his job. 2 days later, he lost his job with the company saying, this is not the, you know, what we support. This is not the type of people we want working. We know, and the Phillies also banned, not just the Phillies, not Phillies. Jeez, I sound like Tom Brady. Not just the Eagles, but he's not allowed in that complex. You know, this guy's not allowed in the complex. Do you think everything that came at him, does he deserve all of this? And I'll give you my answer first. Okay. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Cameras are flying. Everything that you do now in public is going to be filmed, especially if you start crossing the line. And if you're not aware of your surroundings and that there's cameras going on, then I'm sorry. This kind of stuff is the only way that it's going to be deterred is if it gets called out publicly. And do I want people losing their jobs? No. But if I was running this company and somebody was, you know, working for me and displayed this kind of behavior, I'm not sure if I want them representing my product.
Yeah. No, as much as I love disagreeing with you, there's no way I can disagree with you, Mike. Absolutely. This guy gets everything he deserves, even in the future. I mean, good luck trying to get another job. It's awful. And you're right. And now in today's age, you got everything on video, you got everything, everybody's, you know, shooting it out there, you know, reposting it. And no, he got exactly what he deserved. And I'm not gonna suggest that people go out and watch this video, but if you do watch it, it's don't watch it around children. It is vulgar and awful, and he got what he deserved.
And when the camera came out, the interviewed the lady afterwards. When the camera came out, he actually chilled out a little bit, but he still kept going. So imagine what it was like before the camera came out.
Right.
What was being said before the camera came out. It's just I applaud the Phillies. I applaud the Eagles on this. And I applaud the business that he works at. Just saying, no, we don't want that. Dog?
Baltimore, Washington guys, a few months ago, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, Baltimore, Washington, Ravens and Commanders, a Baltimore Ravens fan beat up a Washington Commanders fan after the game. They made him famous, and I believe he was in the financial district of Baltimore. He doesn't have a job anymore. It's actions like that, whether it's verbal or physical, they're serious now. So, and again, to also piggyback on the Mookie Betts situation in the World Series. Those guys have since been banned. Those 3 guys in the Bronx that tried to wrestle that ball away from Mookie Betts, his glove, during the World Series, Game 5. They're banned from the stadium forever. This kind of behavior is starting to really not get tolerated. And this is a good thing, because moving forward, there's a respect. There needs to be a respect. And I think this reinforces the respect between behavior, whether you're plastered or not plastered with alcohol, that you go to a game and you see the other team, maybe you can give them a dirty look or whatever, but to berate them and or beat them up and or try to do something to get on the field of the game, i.e. in the World Series, unacceptable. And I like the 3 instances that this has happened.
Yeah, you should be able to be a fan of the opposing team going to a game. You should be able to. Philadelphia has been notorious for this, that you're taking your life into your own hands if you wear the opposite team's jacket or hat or whatever. It's rumors about this or stories about this in Philadelphia has been going on forever. Same thing with the Jets. If you go to a Jets game wearing the Patriots hat, you're probably going to throw down at some point. So I think more of this needs to happen. More people need to get called out for this, and then hopefully. But to your point, Dog, you're right. When you get liquored up, your common sense kind of goes out the window, and they should be paying for it too. All right, we will be back with some trivia brought to you. What do we the Smoke Show Barbecue House today, right, Charlie?
That's right. That's correct. Right. Smoke Show Barbecue.
We'll be right back.
107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
Hello, Jack Heath here, inviting you to join me October 7th in America's cowboy country with Colette. Grab your Stetson hat and saddle up for an adventure in the great American West.
Show you the world. Come away with me.
We'll see the magnificent sights, including Yellowstone National Park, the world's first national park, famous for its geysers, hot springs, and incredible wildlife, including free-ranging herds of buffalo. Visit amazing Grand Teton National Park, rugged Badlands National Park, Mount Rushmore, and more. Colette covers all the details, from your flights to meals to hotels, sightseeing, and local experiences. Your only job is you have to have the time of your life. Don't miss your chance to join me in America's cowboy country. Call 800-581-8942 or visit thepulseofnh.com to learn more. That number again is 800-581-8942.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Cheney's Apple House Furniture in Pennacook has lots of new furniture in stock for you. With Valentine's Day coming up, wouldn't you love new furniture or a new bed? Buying furniture at Cheney's is less mysterious than opening up a box of chocolates because you'll know exactly what you'll find. Low prices every day on quality American-made furniture. Just like Cupid Pharaoh, shopping local is always on target. It's pretty sweet. You can shop without any hassle or high pressure as the Cheney sales staff is non-commissioned. Cheney stocks Sealy, including the Sealy Posturepedic in all comfort levels, and the Tempur-Pedic mattresses too. Shop local, shop Cheney's Apple House Furniture, 191 Village Street in Pennacook. Take 93 to exit 17, head west, and follow the signs to Pennacook. NHFurnitureStore.com, free layaway and special no-interest financing to qualified buyers.
Apple House Furniture, the best furniture store in town. Apple House Furniture, the best furniture store around.
A Cheney's gift certificate is a perfect Valentine's Day gift.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free to download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Wolfboro, legends quick to lay. Mike on the mic, playing boss. Wolfboro broad nights where the snow gets tossed. Talking socks, hats with the swagger of floss. Dedicated dads, coaches, no loss on the field to the rank. They know what
We, as usual, we're running out of time in our show.
Yes.
And trying to fit everything in. All right, Charlie, let's do some trivia. Hopefully somebody can call in.
All right, sounds good. Today's trivia is sponsored by the Smoke Show Barbecue. You get a chance to win a $20 gift card. The Smoke Show Barbecue, located at 231 South Main Street in Concord, New Hampshire, serves up the finest Southern-style barbecue in New England with a twist. They got cool vibe, friendly staff. They offer classic barbecue favorites like rib, brisket, pulled pork, and turkey, alongside delicious sides like mac and cheese, collard greens, and homemade cornbread. All right, so a $20 gift card to the Smoke Show Barbecue, located in beautiful Concord, New Hampshire. Here it is. In my opening take, I told you guys 1979-1980 was the first season the NBA put in the three-point shot. The trivia question for today is, what player made the first three-point shot in NBA history? What player made the first three-point shot in NBA history? 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080 for a $20 gift card to the Smoke Show Barbecue.
All right, Dog, what do we got? How did we do on the poll question last week?
Okay, last week's poll question was on X at the Pulse of NH, by the way, and also on our Facebook page. The poll question was, who will be the Patriots' next head coach? It's kind of anticlimactic because we have this thing usually going on for about a week, this poll question. It was already announced that Mike Vrabel on that Sunday was going to be. The choices were Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, or other, and resoundingly, 62.5% on X said Mike Vrabel, 25% said Ben Johnson, and then 12.5% said other. On Facebook, it was 22% for Ben Johnson and 78% for Mike Vrabel. And that was the poll question for last week. Thank you to all who contributed on X and on Facebook.
And you want to do this week's?
This week's poll question on X and Facebook is for Mike and the Haas. Monday night is the national title game in Atlanta, Georgia. Who you got? The Ohio State University, or do you have Notre Dame?
All right. Sad news in the baseball world. Just a couple days ago, Bob Uecker passed away. Legendary announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers, Hall of Fame. A Hall of Fame announcer, not a Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame announcer, Mr. Belvedere in pop culture, if you want, and also a pretty decent part in Major League, the movie Major League. One of the more beloved people in baseball, Bob Uecker, and I pulled some of his quotes, his funny quotes, because if you ever watch this Hall of Fame speech, it's must-see TV. It really is. It's must-see TV. So these are some of the things that he said. I remember one time I'm batting against the Dodgers in Milwaukee. They lead 2-1. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. Bases loaded, 2 out, and the pitcher has a full count on me. I look over to the Dodger dugout, and they're all in street clothes. The self-deprecation that he had was fantastic. In 1962, I was named the minor league player of the year. It was my second year in the bigs. And I'll close off with this one. I led the league, and go get him next time.
Yeah. It's
so,
good.
I mean, I remember Bob Uecker. I must be in the front row.
Yeah,
the commercials, the Miller
highlights.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was great.
Sad to see him pass on.
Definitely, definitely a baseball national treasure. So it is sad. He will be missed.
He transcended so much, guys. He was doing Miller Lite commercials. He was the ring announcer at WrestleMania 3. He was doing the backstage interviews at WrestleMania 4. He was, as you said, Mr. Belvedere, a family from Pittsburgh, not Milwaukee, not Cleveland. Of course, being the voice of Harry Doyle for Major League, all 3 Major League movies. The 3rd movie, by the way, Major League Back to the Minors, he was the voice of the Buzz. So he wasn't the voice of Cleveland in the like he was in the first 2 Major League movies. Now, that movie's not really all that good. There are good spots, though, in the movie of Major League Back to the Minors. He's great in it. Scott Bakula is great in it. Walton Goggins is in that movie. He plays a hot shot, cocky minor leaguer. They call him Downtown because he likes to hit the ball downtown. But just so much that Euchre at the age of 90. And the sad part is the call that he had was the end. At the end was the eventual game-winning home run from Polar Bear Pete Alonso, that clutch home run for the Mets and the Brewers in that wild card round. He said, "This one stings." And that's his final call that he'll ever have as a Milwaukee Brewers announcer. It's just 90 years young, full of life, just lit up a room, was not afraid to make fun of himself, as you alluded to, Mike, with all those great jokes. That 2003 Cooperstown video, you got to see it, of him talking. And I don't want to say that he overshadowed the late, great Gary Carter and Eddie Murray when they both were into the Hall of Fame, but he kind of did. But the guy like Euchre, you're going to do that because you've got just so much of a baseball life.
It was a stand-up routine. He did, and that's the way he looked at that Cooperstown speech, as a stand-up routine, and he had guys falling out of their chairs.
Yeah.
It was that funny. And a lot of time those Cooperstown speeches are tear-jerkers. It's relatively dry. His was not dry. He decided that he was going to use all the lines that he had kind of people had grown accustomed to him saying, and he stuck them all in one speech.
Right. He was a great broadcaster too for ABC back in the day, and then NBC with Bob Costas and Joe Morgan during the postseason as well. Who's fantastic in that range as well. He wasn't just a guy that knew how to do jokes. He was actually a very, very good baseball broadcaster. He loved the game. And he also, by the way, guys, he got a ring. He was part of the 1964 St. Louis Cardinals World Series championship. So as much as he claims to be a bum and wasn't that good.
Well, he had a joke on the
major leagues.
Yeah. He had a joke on that one too, that he helped the Cardinals win the World Series by getting hepatitis B, and the doctor gave it to him. That's how he helped him.
That's funny.
He had a joke for everything. So
let me give the trivia one more time. What player made the first 3-point shot in NBA history? What player made the first 3-point shot in NBA history? Your chance to win a $20 gift card to the Smoke Show Barbecue, 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080. And of course, it's fun to talk about Bob Euchre, and rest in peace to Bob Euchre. Of course, condolences to his family.
Is Charlie the one that's cutting out, or is it I'm the one that's cutting out? Is Charlie smooth there? It's me. Okay, that's good to know. I don't want it to be Charlie. I don't want it to be Charlie. All right, let's take a break. We got to come back with some picks, and we got to talk Celtics and Bruins. We'll be right back.
This is the Pulse of New Hampshire, 107.7 WTPL.
At Crossroads Chiropractic, we believe you deserve more than a guess. That's why we do a careful examination before we adjust. On your first visit, we'll take a history and strive to understand your concerns and determine the best course of care, which may include taking x-rays when they're necessary. That's one reason we've been voted best chiropractor year after year. Misalignments in the spine are called subluxations and can happen from slips, falls, car accidents, poor posture, and even the birth process. These shifts can cause secondary conditions like sciatica, neck pain, digestive problems, allergies, asthma, colic, low back pain, headaches, and more. Because subluxations can happen at any age, we adjust tiny newborns to seniors and everyone in between. Our mission is to create a healthier community through natural chiropractic care. Life really is better when you're well adjusted. Come experience it for yourself. This month, a complete examination with any necessary x-rays is just $59, with 4 locations in Pembroke, Meredith, Epping, and Bedford. Call us at 603-575-9080 or find us on the web at crossroadschiropractic.com.
ADF Flooring in Concord proudly accepted the Concord Monitor Cappies Award for top quality flooring in the capital region, achieving this honor for the 4th consecutive year. Trust ADF for unmatched affordability and the widest selection in the capital region. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast or a professional contractor, ADF offers an extensive range of options spanning from carpet, vinyl, and tile to premium factory direct hardwood. For some inspiration, pay a visit to their showroom, where their knowledgeable staff will assist you in selecting the ideal flooring solution. Be sure to explore ADF's Room Visualizer tool at adfflooring.com to preview how your chosen flooring will look in your space before making a decision. As a proud member of the Flooring Network, ADF upholds its unwavering commitment to delivering top-notch quality. At ADF, they stand behind their flooring while you stand on it.
ADF.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss on the airways blast. Talking New England sports, they got the facts. Coaches and teachers making it clear. Wolfboro mornings filled with cheer. Baseball scores and hockey fights.
All right, we got about 9 minutes left in the show, and as Dog put on, if you were watching the stream, we are going to get to picks in a second. Let's do trivia one more time, and hopefully we get that call.
Sure. $20 gift card to the Smoke Show Barbecue up for grabs. What player made the first three-point shot in NBA history? What player made the first three-point shot in NBA history? It was way back in 1979. 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080.
Speaking of three-pointers, that's all the Celtics seem to take. 29-12, 5.5 games back. Reeling. I understand they're in second place, but there seems to be a lot of turmoil in that locker room right now. Somebody's going to get traded. Somebody's going to get fired. Thoughts on that? Are they where they need to be, or do they need to make a move?
No, they're doing exactly what we had talked about before. Came back with the same team, and no, something they need to shake something up. They need to move something. They need to move a piece. If they have any chance of going back to back.
What about a coaching change? Any chance?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, sure, there's a chance, I think, but I don't think so. I think you ride him out. He won the championship last year. Let's see. You're almost halfway through the season. Let's see where they'll go with him.
All right. They're on tonight. They're hosting the Hawks, 6:30 pregame, 7:05 tip-off on the Pulse of New Hampshire. Coming up with the Pulse of New Hampshire at 2:30 today pregame, the Bruins are going to be visiting Ottawa Senators. The Bruins right now are in 8th place, 49 points. There's 5 other teams within 3 points of them. They're in trouble. And I know they won a couple games this week. They broke a 6-game skid, but I think that they're in trouble, and I think it's time to blow that team up.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I don't think, even if they make it into the playoffs, they're just going to limp into the playoffs. So you're right. Blow it up and rebuild for the future.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel as their new coach. And I would mention before you got on, Charlie, I was saying how it's amazing how a quick firing and hiring changed the narrative of the Patriots season. Nobody's talking about the 4-13 season that they just had. Nobody's talking about the dysfunction that was on the field. People are looking now towards the future. Right. And a legit hire. When they hired Mayo last year, were we excited about that?
We weren't. No, definitely.
No. I can't remember anybody being overly excited and confident that that's going to be the answer for the future. But there's a different feeling with Vrabel. Vrabel, now that it feels like there's an adult in the room that's going to be able to dictate the direction that the team goes, who has history. And I think it was a good choice. I know it's not the sexy choice, but I think it's a good choice that the Patriots went in that direction.
Right. And he's cleaned house, so it'll be nice to see who he's going to bring in. So a lot of people were fired yesterday from the Patriots organization. So yeah, I think having Vrabel is going to be a good thing. Plus, the other piece is he's a proven head coach. It's not like it wasn't like Mayo, who had never really, he had never been a head coach before. So
wasn't even a coordinator. Mayo wasn't even a coordinator.
Right.
All right. let's get to picks. I think I've publicized quite a bit this week that I had a very good week last week.
Yeah.
My best week of the year. It's waited till the end. But yeah, I am in a little trouble. That's all right. We have
Well, you know what? I wanted to interject quickly. Your nickname is 2 and 3 Mikey D. You can't go 2 and 3 this week. So, well, maybe you can actually, because we have a call.
I changed my nickname last week. It was let's have fun. Mikey D was 5-1. I think.
I love it.
All right, first game going on a couple hours actually. Houston is at Kansas City. My opening take was about Kansas City. I think I'm gonna be able to use it next week. But Dog, what do you got?
Since the Packers are out of the Super Bowl, I was going to have the Texans represent, but no, they're playing Kansas City, and I'll go with the champs, Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm going to take the champs as well in this game.
I got Kansas City too. I need them for my opening take next week.
Yes.
Sorry, Washington at Detroit. Washington at Detroit. I think this is going to be a better game than people think.
I agree. I'll take Detroit in this one, though.
Yes, I don't know. There's destiny with Detroit, so I'm going to take the Detroit Lions.
Montgomery's coming back. I've got Detroit. I do have it in more of a nail biter at the end of the game. I think that Washington showed me quite a bit last week playing Tampa the way they did. I'm curious, and I think I have time to talk about this. Dan Campbell, the Detroit coach, is going to lose both his coordinators. Do you see Campbell as an X's and O's guy that he's going to be able to fill that void when those coordinators go?
No.
That might be a big shock to that system. Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson are the ones that have really kind of been behind. I understand that Campbell's the motivator and he's the that guy, but Detroit's winning on the field on X's and O's often. They are out scheming the other team. And then if you look at their defense and how many injuries that they've had this year and the fact that they've been able to plug and play and still play, that's going to be a big shock. Detroit better win this year. I guess that's my point.
Yeah. So you have Detroit? You picking Detroit?
I do.
All right.
The Rams at Philadelphia.
I got the Rams in this one, guys. I think that defense is for real. They've got a heavy heart with the whole LA situation with the wildfires. I think they're really they got something here.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I agree with that piece, Dog, but I can't go against the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to fly. Eagles fly, and the Eagles are going to win because they're at home.
I have the Rams. I think the Rams is for real. They're the hottest team at that ended the season. Kind of pieces coming together offensively and defensively. I think that they're the team that they might come out of the NFC. The last game, the Ravens at the Bills. This is the game of the week. The Ravens at the Bills.
It's in the snow. I know that probably doesn't hurt Baltimore because it snows in Baltimore, although it gets warmer in Baltimore usually around this time. Just not this weekend, but it's in Orchard Park. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, MVP Josh Allen is going to lead the Buffalo Bills to victory.
It really is kind of the MVP game because it's going to be either Lamar or Josh Allen. And I apologize to Bernie. You're not going to appreciate this pick, Bernie, but I've got the Ravens. I think this is where Buffalo's going to be in trouble. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the snow running. I think that, and plus, if I was going to go with coaches, I would go with John Harbaugh over the Buffalo coach. So I think that's the one. So that's where I'm at. Now we got to pick the championship game. That's coming up on Monday night. Also our poll question.
Yes.
Notre Dame at The Ohio State. Dog, what do you got?
In Atlanta, The Ohio State University.
Yes. Ryan Day, a New Hampshire guy, The Ohio State.
A guy that was pretty much done and fired 5 or 6 weeks ago is going to bring home the national championship and probably still lose to Michigan next year. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We still got a couple minutes. Next week, I wanted to touch base on the dynasty of the Patriots over the 20 years. And if Kansas City wins this year, are they now considered the greatest team in the NFL as far as the greatest dynasty? Do they surpass the Patriots dynasty is what I'm saying. Charlie, what was the answer to the trivia question?
What player made the first three-point shot in NBA history? It is Chris Ford of the Boston Celtics.
Awesome. All right, that's the music. I think that's our cue.
Yeah.
As you said, we're going to be taped next week, Charlie.
Yes, that's correct.
We're taping a little early, so no trivia next week, and we'll be back live in 2 weeks. But there will still be a show next week on the Pulse of New Hampshire. Have a great week, everybody, and stay safe in the snow.
Check us out on Facebook and